Welcome to Kidmissing TV. I am your host, Angelina Wilson. Unfortunately, there's no poster for this one. There's no reconstruction or anything. So, excuse me. This is called the Kerry Babies. From County Kerry, Ireland. A newborn baby boy's body was discovered on White Strand Beach. I'm gonna destroy this. Savine, County Kerry, on April 14, 1984. This baby wasn't just left there or, a stillbirth or a premature birth or a miscarriage. No. He was stabbed 28 times. I wouldn't think there was enough surface area on the body of an infant to put 28 stab wounds in, and his neck had been broken. They christened him with the name John. There was a woman, unmarried, named Joanne Hayes, from Aberdorney, close to Tralee, 40 miles from Carissavine. I'm so sorry. Was being investigated by the Garda, that's the police. She had lately been expecting a child, but not anymore, and there were no traces of the child. Her child passed away after birth, and she buried it. And they did find her baby buried on the family farm. They coerced her family into all saying they took part in the stabbing of the other baby. Garda explored a theory because testing revealed the blood type of the infant on the beach was A, and the infant on the farm was O. Which is the same type as Joanne and the infant's married father, Jeremiah Locke. So Garda thought that it could be a case of heteropaternal fecundation. Heteropaternal superfecundation. Basically, what that means is they believed something that you never hear, something that just doesn't compute. It can happen. Basically, that big bunch of gobbledygook means that you had sex with two men. You released two follicles, or eggs, and each of them fertilized one. Can it happen? Yeah, there are documented cases. But in order for it to happen, you either have to sleep with both men at the same time, or within hours of each other. Does it happen? Yeah, there are documented cases, but it's very rare. Okay, well, they cleared her, and they cleared the Garda for forcing her family to say things. This baby's tomb has been routinely vandalized over the years. A runner discovered the body on the beach and called the Garda, which is what the Irish police are called, as I said. You know, they suspected whoever the baby's mother was of doing this, but I cannot see, unless you're in a serious postpartum psychosis, any woman doing that to her baby, her brand new baby. I can't. Um, they, a while later, a couple weeks later, the police came back to the Undertaker's house to talk to his daughter. This is just bizarre. Do you have a boyfriend? No. Do you know anyone who does have a boyfriend? Yes. They asked if her friends had been pregnant and if she had heard about them having an affair with a married man. I mean, it was just absurd. She said she nearly fainted at the Garda's questioning. She thought of herself as a good girl, and her mother did too. The police had brought fear into their home. But in 1984, fear was the norm in Catholic Ireland. Okay, Catherine, like most kids in um, Ireland at that time, um, they had. Okay, the church was no longer in control politically, I guess, but it was still um, all the schools, all the public schools were run by the church, and sex education was non-existent. Um, Somebody thought it was funny to bring home a box of condoms from the UK. From the UK, they're not part of the UK, um, and so Catherine had the box. She just kind of, it's just there as something funny. And she took one out and put it in her friend's birthday gift. Well, her mother whooped her good for it. Just as a gag. Because condoms require a prescription, and birth control pills were available only to married women if they were able to find a doctor to prescribe them. And of course, they would send women away if they were pregnant, especially unmarried, and they would come back, skinnier and in silence, and nobody would talk about it because they were forced to give up their babies. There are whole documentaries on this phenomenon in Ireland, and mothers and their daughters and sons, mothers and their children, I should say, being reunited. And so many of the children ended up here in the United States or in England or okay. Children in Ireland born out of wedlock have no succession rights. And of course, they banned abortion. Women lived under pervasive fear. Shortly after the Eighth Amendment, which was the abortion ban, was passed, a 15-year-old girl, Anne Lovett, became pregnant and died in a grotto. She had gone there to secretly give birth under a statue of the Virgin Mary. She died around the same time police were interviewing Catherine, Bridget, and scores of other women in the Baby John case. And then Joanne became their suspect, and they naturally, the tribunal absolved the police of any impropriety. Of course they did. They're not going to slap themselves on the wrist. In 1992, the landmark X case made it legal for Irish women to travel abroad for abortions, adding the threat of suicide as grounds for abortion. In 2013, Savita Hala Panavar, oh my God, Hala Panavar, Savita Halapanavar, died of sepsis after being denied determination of a miscarrying fetus in a Galway hospital, prompting the government to pass a bill allowing abortions when a woman's life is in danger. Well, duh! And in January, 34 years after Joanne was wrongfully accused, the police finally issued her a formal apology. They admitted the DNA conclusively ruled she could not have been Baby John's mother. And they reopened the case. they now are voting again on whether to allow abortion. Now, this isn't a political video. Understand that. It's not. Because if you're capable of doing what was done to this child, to an infant, a newborn, then you got no business getting pregnant in the first place. So abortion is not an issue. The Undertaker's daughter spends much of her time with her daughter and her ailing father, who is now 88 years old, but the Undertaker is still alive. But she's, and he's no longer able to look after baby John's grave. Baby John would have been 34 years old. Actually, he would have been 40, because that was 1984. So the write-up that was done later, earlier. A dead man linked to a couple arrested on suspicion of the murder of baby John in County Kerry in 1984 could be crucial to the case. Garda are reportedly satisfied that the arrested couple were baby John's parents. However, they are still investigating how he died. We know how he died. He was stabbed 28 times and his neck was broken. He was believed to be born 5 days earlier, and this is what gets me, on April 9th, 1984. Why does that get me? Because that was my father's 40th birthday. And the two people who were arrested were released. A man in his early 60s and a woman in her late 50s. They were arrested after Garda carried out DNA sampling in the community and exhumed baby John's remains in 2021. I don't understand why people are destroying the grave. Why would you do that to anyone's grave? And I will link a documentary that I have in my it's a YouTube video, but I think it's from a documentary that I have in my true crime list in the cards at the end, so you can get another perspective. This was a long video, guys, 20 minutes, but that's fine. So thank you so much for joining me. God bless you. Have a wonderful rest of your day, and come back Monday, where we discuss the murder of a 12-year-old boy. Now that's disturbing. Remember, every missing kid or adult is someone's kid missing.